Thank you all for taking time out of your Easter Sunday to listen to me. But I have to say that right now this is really, really awkward. And no, I'm not talking about the fact that you guys are being filmed right now. I'm talking about the fact that right now I'm looking at you guys, imagining you in your underwear. See, I was looking up last night, trying to come up with some strategies on how to overcome my fear of public speaking. And this is one of them that was recommended to me. But it doesn't feel right. I don't know if you guys have ever tried this before. Maybe I'm doing it wrong. Maybe y'all are supposed to imagine me in my underwear. Am I supposed to tell you guys that? No? Okay. Huh. So, this whole assignment is me supposed to share with you guys some strategies on how to overcome fears of public speaking. And I was looking at the statistic, and apparently people fear public speaking more than death. Which I wouldn't say I fall into that group, but I've definitely had my share of fears with regards to public speaking. And so when I was thinking about what strategies I might share with you guys, I thought about me personally and reflected on, well, what makes me nervous whenever I'm about to give a talk to others? And two things came to mind. One being, well, maybe everybody has this, especially actors, is forgetting what you had to say. That's the last thing you want to do, right, is be standing in front of a crowd of tons of people and not have anything to say when everybody's looking at you. Now, the second thing is me running out of time or coming up way short of my time, maybe because I forgot what I was going to say. And these aren't blind fears. I can tell you guys a story one time. I was speaking in front of a group of about 300 or so students, and during that talk, the moment I received the microphone, I just paused and I completely blanked on what I was going to say. Talk about one of the worst, scariest moments of my life. I don't know if you guys have ever had a similar scenario, but since then, I've either shied away from public speaking or made sure I was very much prepared when I was going to speak. Mostly I've just shied away from public speaking though. So in order to overcome this though, I've been working on a few things, and I'm going to share with you guys those today. First one is kind of goes into how you prepare for your talk. A strategy I've been using is before I start working on the talk, I get a video camera set up in the room and I just speak as if somebody had just popped the question, maybe like an interview or maybe like a conversation among friends. And that's worked pretty well. There's no pressure. I haven't even prepared it all, so whatever comes out of my mouth is totally fine. But usually I surprise myself because I actually do have a lot to say when I'm speaking in front of that camera the first time. Now, the key thing with doing that is that you film yourself. When you're filming yourself, you're going to also be able to capture how much time you speak. And also you're going to be able to review what you say. So you say it once, that commits it to memory, and then you're repeating it when you're reviewing it on the camera. And that also helps commit it to memory. So starting out that way, the ad-lib way, is maybe something that you haven't heard before. And the next tip I'm going to talk to you about is maybe also something that people don't normally recommend, which is I don't want you to write down what your speech actually is. A speech is not an essay in English class. So when you are giving the talk, you're not going to have your speech in front of you. I don't want you guys to have your speech in front of you. If you have your speech in front of you, then you're just going to look like you're reading it, and you might as well just send out a memo to everybody to read the script. So the whole goal here is not to appear like you're reading it, but you're delivering a speech. You don't want to read from the script, and I don't want you to write a script. The other thing that trips me up, and I think it tripped me up in that one event, was I had written my speech, and during that time, I basically, every time I missed what was the next line or sentence that I was trying to memorize, it just completely choked you up. So I don't want you guys to memorize a speech, because that makes you more likely to get tripped up when you either misspeak or you forget the next sentence. So the next thing I want you guys to do is practice. Practice, practice, practice. Everybody's heard that before, but it really helps. When you practice, you get much more repetitions in, and it's going to actually help it commit your subject material to memory, while not necessarily verbatim the words you're going to say. So as you keep speaking, you're going to record yourself, like I said before, and by recording yourself, you're going to be able to review over and over again. So practice, 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 record yourself, review it. You can try new things. If there's certain things in your talk that aren't working, then you can remove those from your talk and try again. And the more and more you do this, the more you're going to commit it to that long-term memory, and the more you're going to be able to speak much more naturally. A third thing, so getting closer to the time of your speech, what I want you to do is have a key word, sentence, phrase that's going to kick off your speech. And that phrase, in the case for today, for me, was saying, "This is really awkward." So maybe you guys just thought that that was me sharing openly my feelings about the talk, but the "this is awkward" sentence was my trigger, and that filled everything into my mind from that moment going forward of what I was going to talk about. So instead of memorizing an entire script, I only had to memorize one sentence, and then my brain automatically filled in what I was going to say afterwards. So having that key trigger word was another tip that I think is pretty practical and has been working for me. Finally, getting to the day of your speech. So the day of your speech, this is another mental practice which is used by golfers, used by professional athletes, and it's used by professional speakers. And that is to visualize you giving your talk. Not necessarily the words that you're going to say, but visualize yourself in front of the crowd. Visualize yourself in front of everybody. Visualize yourself confidently. Visualize yourself in the clothes that you're wearing. And visualize yourself delivering the speech that you know you can deliver. And that's going to put yourself in a much more easy frame of mind, much more relaxed, much more real and relevant and appreciable by your audience. So those are the tips I have for you guys today. Let's repeat those back so you guys remember them. Number one, when you're practicing, go for it before you even start writing anything down. Record yourself with the camera. Don't memorize your speech. Don't write what verbatim you're going to say. And remember your trigger word. Your trigger word is going to fill in what you're going to talk about. Your trigger word is the only thing I want you to memorize, and your brain will naturally fill in what you need to say. And finally, visualize yourself giving the speech that you want, that you know you can give, and you know that your audience is going to want to listen to. If you do those things, then your fears of public speaking will disappear. You'll become much more natural at what you're delivering, and people want to invite you back to give more speeches in the future. So thank you guys once again for taking time out of your day to listen with me, and I hope that you guys have a great wonderful year, great day for the rest of your day.